Hello everybody, welcome back. So today we're doing a video on the most likely 2020 Senate outcome, and it's going to be a very interesting Senate race. And I know the Republicans have a lot more seats up, but we'll see here that is not necessarily going to benefit the Democrats because they have their own vulnerable seats up, like Alabama, Michigan, and New Hampshire. So let's get started. So first off, we're going to start off with talking about the most vulnerable seats, which would be Alabama at the beginning. And Alabama is almost certainly going to go Republican. I think it'll go likely. If there were a Republican incumbent there, then I would put it as safe. But because Doug Jones is the Democratic incumbent, that'll give him a slight advantage. And also, let me just put up that as a toss-up. Okay, that didn't work. Anyways, so that's probably going to go likely Republican, unless the Republicans run a really horrible candidate like Roy Moore. Even then, Roy Moore could still probably win because it's a presidential election year, so he'll be able to go and get more people out and voting for him because he only lost by like 22,000 votes in the last election. So next up, let's go to in my opinion, the second most vulnerable seat, which would be Colorado. So Colorado is held by Republican incumbent Cory Gardner, and he's really unpopular among Democrats and Republicans. I think independents as well. Republicans view him as a rhino, and Democrats obviously don't like him for being a conservative, and he's just generally disliked by a lot of people. I myself don't have a problem with the guy. So, but I would put this as leans Democratic because Republicans have fared really poorly recently in Colorado, and with Cory Gardner's unpopularity, he'll probably lose. But we still got quite some time until the 2020 election, so he can definitely go and turn this around. Um, Also, I just want to point out that I'm getting a freaking Planned Parenthood ad right next to me, which really pisses me off, but not going to go into that. Anyways, next up would be Arizona, in my opinion. Arizona is held by Republican incumbent Martha McSally, and she recently lost a Senate election last year, but then she got appointed to the Senate. But I think that she'll probably win anyways, even if it's Mark Kelly, because Arizona is a red state. The pro-Trump governor won last year by like 14 points. I mean, he didn't really talk too much about Trump while he was at it, but Trump will probably be down here in this state, and he'll probably be able to get out the vote here because let's face it, in Arizona, there's a lot of old people there. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this as leans Republican. Then next up, I would say next up we have Michigan, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Georgia, and Maine. Maine, actually, I'm just gonna go and put this as a safe Republican right now. Why am I putting that as a safe Republican? Well, because Susan Collins has been really moderate on a lot of things, and I know her Kavanaugh vote is haunting her a bit, or at least according to liberals, anyways. But has remained pretty popular, and she won both of her last two elections very easily. Even though in 2008 Obama won the state by like 20 points or so, at least that's what I heard. And she still was able to win it by that much too, even though they were in separate parties. So, and by the way, 2008 was a really bad year for Republicans because of the recession, and they lost a lot of Senate and House seats, and then of course the presidency. So, anyways, that's it'll probably stay safe red, especially with a good economy. Trump might even come down and help her out. Probably not because she's not too pro Trump, but I don't know. I don't know what she really thinks about him. So anyways, next up would be Michigan. I'm gonna say right now because Gary Peters is the incumbent Democratic senator, I'm gonna say it goes light Republican. Why? Because Trump won the state in 2016 by only 10,000 votes. I know that Democrats won all the statewide races by quite a lot last year. But Gary Peters has one problem that makes me put him in this column. Not too many people know who he is, or at least a lot of people don't know who he is in his own state. Anyways, he's been in public service for like 10 years. I mean, he's been a senator for like 6 years, by the way, and now, and he has this huge problem with nobody knowing who he is. Like I watched a video the other or like a few weeks ago where some guy went out and interviewed Michiganders at a Bernie Sanders rally, and they didn't know who he was. And then I also looked at a poll, and like 43% of the people there don't know who he is. That's probably more people probably know who he is, but you get the point. There's a lot of people who don't even know who he is, and that's pretty embarrassing. So I think if the Republicans could go and field a strong candidate, they might be able to flip this. Also, when he ran in 2014, he did win by quite a lot, but that was because his opponent was a pretty poor opponent, I think. At least from what I've heard. I heard she started making a bunch of stupid comments towards the end of the campaign, so that's probably what caused her to lose by so much. So next up, we're gonna do New Hampshire, and right now this is held by incumbent Senator Gianni Shaheen, and so recently the Republican governor, what's his name, Chris Sununu, decided not to run for Senate, and he's going to run for re-election. So if he did run, I would put this as light red, but I don't know. But at this point, I don't know who the nominee will be. Kelly Ayotte, the former Republican senator there, could run, but she did lose, so only by 1,000 votes. So it would be very, very possible for her to be able to win against Gianni Shaheen. But Gianni Shaheen is pretty popular from what I've heard. Uh, it'll definitely be one of the closest races of 2020 because, nobody ever really wins in New Hampshire by very much. Like Trump only lost the state by like 4,000 votes. So, it's a state that Trump could try to win in 2020, and if he won it, then that he would he'll almost certainly be down in New Hampshire, so he can try to flip the Senate seat and win it for himself too. So I'm gonna put this as leans Democrat right now, just because I don't know who the nominee will really be. I don't know if Kelly Ayotte will run. If there's a strong Republican that runs, like Chris Sununu, if Chris Sununu decides to run for Senate instead of running for governor, then I would put this as leans Republican. But until we get more information on this Senate race, I'm gonna put it as leans Democrat. Uh, Next up, we've got North Carolina and Georgia, the final two seats. Georgia is a red state. I know it's trended more blue in recent elections. What's her name? Stacey Abrams only lost the state by like 55,000 votes, but she's not running for Senate next year. And this is a red state, and I think Trump will definitely be down here campaigning because he'll need to win it if he wants to win in 2020 again. Um, but I think that David Perdue will probably win, just because it's a red state, and I don't really know if there. I don't really think there's too many problems with David Perdue, so he'll probably win. And it also depends on who the Democratic opponent is. Since Stacey Abrams not running, we don't know who will be the Democratic nominee. Next up would be North Carolina, and North Carolina is probably going to go red. I know it's represented by Tom Tillis, and he's going to have a primary challenger, I've heard. I don't know that for sure, but North Carolina is a swing state technically, but it is a lot more red than a swing state. It has a Democratic governor, but Republicans hold both of the Senate seats there. They control both the state house and state senate, and They also have some other statewide offices, I think. And Trump won the state in 2016, and also Romney won it in 2012. Last time the state voted for a Democrat in a presidential election was in 2008. So, um, yeah, this is the way the Senate map is probably going to end up looking, if you ask me. Uh, I don't really see it going too much else. Minnesota could flip. But probably not. I just don't see it flipping in like the general, or I mean, in the Senate election. I could see it flipping in the presidential election. I could definitely see it flipping. But I don't necessarily think in the Senate election. It's still a little too blue for that to happen right now, unless the Republicans were going to come down and spend some serious money here, like registering voters, running ads, and stuff like that. So, this is the way that the Senate map looks like to me, at least right now. That I will definitely do some more videos like this. We'll analyze the map every once in a while, like maybe every month or every few months. So, and we'll just use more information and update the map as I see fit. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, I know Kentucky is held by Mitch McConnell, and he's really unpopular. But during a presidential election, and he'll probably win anyways. So, um, anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I'm sorry about my mic, by the way. Yeah, New Mexico could actually probably go leans Democrat. Just by the way, just because it's not a safe state, and the incumbent Democratic senator isn't running for re-election, so this could actually get to be a very contested race if a strong Republican candidate like Susana Martinez, who has a lot of name recognition in the state, runs. So yeah, this is my final prediction, I believe, and or at least for right now. And Steve Bullock isn't running in Montana, but he could drop out of the presidential race and run. If that happens, I would still see Montana as going at least leans Republican. So, anyways, that's going to be it. Also, I believe Trump will win re-election, so therefore keeping the vice presidency in Republican hands. So, anyways, that's going to be it for this video, and I will see you all next time. I don't know I don't know what my next prediction will be. I might try to do the best case or the best possible. I don't know actually. See you later.